Logically, what comes after the number 0 is 1, but for 7Hz cells note, the sequel to the extreme value 0 is the 02. And today we review the latest release from the cells note brand. The original 0 arrived to much fanfare because of its incredible price and performance, and will this live up to that or even surpass its predecessor? Let's find out! Hey there, if you're new to the channel and find the content entertaining and interesting, do consider subscribing to support me, and if you have already done so, do like and leave a comment to share your thoughts. So today we welcome the Cells Note 02, and no, not the anime girl that we all know as 02. The 02 is a retuned Cells Note 0 that's a refresh of the original, and it's a very affordable IM to begin with. Expectations won't be terribly high given the price, but with the onslaught of budget IMs in the market as of late, it's only right that we give this the full review treatment. So let's go! First off, the box is basically the same style as the original 0 with a rather bare bones kit. It's got your cable, your ear tip, and the IEMs themselves. Nothing standout or special, but of course, for something at this price point, it is really to be expected. It comes with everything one needs to just plug and play. Also, just note that there isn't a bag provided, and really that's a good thing. I'm really sick of those half-ass bags. If you really want to provide a bag to store your IMs, make sure it's a decent one. So it's nice that they don't even give you one. I don't need it. Build quality. The 02s are basically identical to the original, and they just come with a different engraving on the faceplate. The shell here is plastic fantastic. Yes, it isn't the most premium of materials, but it's still better than the KZ-esque build of KZ and even things like the Tangzu Waner. It does feel more solid than other cheapies in the price range. Also, I rather like the shape of the 02 as it's quite different from the other plain vanilla custom universal shapes in the market. It sort of looks like a deformed Dorito, and I rather like nachos. Inside the chassis is a brand new 10mm dynamic driver. This is my favorite driver configuration as it's just super coherent and it has a very natural presentation. So if you're wondering if there are any sonic differences with the original 0, it will be done in the comparisons. The new cable is more pliable but not by much. It's still an improvement over the first one, and it's a welcome change in terms of usability and quality of life upgrades. As with something of this price, there are no balance terminations available with this, and that is completely understandable. Only the ubiquitous 3.5mm here. Comfort. The 02 has an odd shape like a deformed Dorito that works quite well, as it's not really intrusive and small enough to fit a majority of ears, and this is very comfortable. It's a great fit for me and does not have any immediate issues that I can pick up from my brief time with it. The included ear tips are nice and comfy, but nothing super game-changing. I suggest tip rolling still to find the perfect sound and fits for yourself, but as they are really sufficient and work quite well. I was messing around with the Elitech Baroque ear tips on these, and I think that they do suit them quite well. The cable that it comes with has some microphonics, but it is really bearable. It's a standard 1.2 meter cable, so it's really comfortable. The length is just nice. The softness of the cable helps with a lot of comfort as well. It is less springy than the first one, and the pre-applied ear hooks are also comfortable, and they aren't too short or too tight to cause any noticeable discomfort. So sound, I've included a graph here, so pause if you want to view it in greater detail. Okay, now let's move on. The thing is, with the 02, it has huge shoes to fill due to the popularity of the original 0. 7Hz and Crane has chose to follow up with a signature that is rather different from the predecessor. I'd say this is quite a smart move as the new tuning on the 02 is definitely more newbie friendly. Not only that, it is a signature that many whom have been playing in this hobby for a while can appreciate as well. The 02 features a natural warm signature that has more body compared to the original 0. This allows it to be an easier listen by comparison. Dynamics has also been improved on the 02 as well, which is quite exciting. Bass of the Zero 2 is mercurial and resonant. This isn't a bass hit IEM, but it isn't an old school neutral as well. It does have a good reasonable quantity of bass that allows it to be rather fun sounding and yet not color the rest of the frequency range as well. Sub-bass extension is also good as you hear good levels of rumble in the lower frequencies that is followed up with a good kick in the chest with the mid-bass. I like how dynamic the bass is on the Zero, which gives an extra oomph when watching movies on them. The original Zero, on the other hand, is more neutral in comparison. That is to say, bass quantity is quite a bit lesser by comparison. Also, it isn't as dynamic, but what you get in return is a more obvious mid-range and treble response. Mid-range on the Zero 2 sounds quite full sounding, but not to the point where it is overtly warm. This is due to the increased bass presence lending resonance to the mid-range, allowing it to sound fuller. I never really experienced any mid-range bleed on the Zero 2, which makes the Zero 2 technically really competent. Also, due to the increased bass presence, you get a slight perceived reduction in upper mids, but trust me, it is still there, and this aids in the overall clarity of the Zero 2. The timbre of the mid-range brings about a tinge of warmth that nicely colors mid-range just slightly. I found the timbre of the original Zero to be slightly less warm compared to Zero 2 and overall providing a more tame presentation. Treble extension is alluring, especially in the price range. I found extension to be good for its price class with good air for a $25 IEM. There is this nice naturalness that adds a bit of shimmer and radiance to different voicings in the music. Cymbals has good detail, and its scripts, I never found them to be shimmery and grating to the ears. Comparing it to the original Zero, it is less bright but more than enough to keep music interesting to listen to. And next, let's talk about Soundstage. When it comes to width and height, I found the Zero 2 to do quite well in terms of width and height. It is quite an even spread in terms of Soundstage. For its asking price, I must say that it performs quite admirably. Depth and positioning. Depth on the Zero 2 is great for its price class, while positioning is also pretty accurate. The overall tonality is what I would consider an improvement over the original, and it's a great value champion in the market today. It's got a really good price to performance ratio, and this is something one can consider as a gift to somebody who is new to the audiophile world. And of course, I will talk about some comparisons with other earphones in the price range. So firstly, versus the Tangzu Waner. The thing about the Waner is that it has a rather KZ-esque build quality, that is to say that it is really rather plasticky. And I still haven't really gotten over mine being a little bit too easily scratched up after one day of use, so the Zero 2 here does a better job when it comes to build quality. It just feels more solid. When it comes to sonics, both the Zero 2 and Waner have a similar signature, but I feel that the Zero 2 takes the cake when it comes to extension by having better sub-bass response and treble response as well. The Zero 2 sounds less compressed sounding and have overall better separation amongst the two. Versus the Simgot EW100. Now the EW100 is leaner sounding compared to the Zero 2 and has a slightly rougher presentation as well. I found the EW100 to be more similar to the original Zero by comparison. And next, versus the Truthears Hola. I think that the Hola has been out for quite a while. I think it should have a replacement soon, I hope. I'm not sure, but well, you'll see. The thing about the Hola is that treble response is not very pronounced and can sound a little bit dull by comparison. It just does not really have the edge in terms of clarity, and I don't think it extends that high. Personally, I would like a bit more upper mid, so I think the Zero 2 does that a little bit better. And finally, in conclusion, well, I do think that for the ultra cheapie segment, 7Hz and Crin has made a fine choice to voice the Zero the way that they did. It is very easy to like and can see that this will be quite popular. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Super Chong Super Audio Show. And it was really rather fun listening to the Zero 2s. I had a blast. It's one of the cheapies that I would easily recommend anybody. Yeah, for the $25 price range, I think it's really quite hard to beat unless you want to go to the next price category of about 40 or 50 US dollars. But for 25 US dollars, I think the Zero 2s are really the one to beat right now. Everybody got the crosshairs on them because it does sound quite lovely. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the content so far, please kindly press the like and subscribe button somewhere down below. It helps me out a huge bunch. Thank you guys so much for watching. With that said, I hope to see you guys soon.